Right. We live, we live, we live. Pep Talk UK. Pro Beez, joined by Bo from Three Kings Boxing. Once again. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. You know, I saw some old men that I grew up with watching fight, and so they got me.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to feel good or feel bad.
Hey, Mike Tyson in hella shape though. Hella shape.
Yeah.
I gotta say that. How's it out of the States at the moment with the corona, lockdown, etc.? How's it for you?
You know what? We're not on lockdown, like complete lockdown, like y'all are. I'm an essential employee, so I get to go out and go to work and stuff like that. But you know, man, it's like anything, man. It's an adjustment. We all have to make an adjustment too, because I think this is going to be the new way of life, working from home, ordering stuff online. So, it's like anything, man. It's an adjustment. But for me right now, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been kind of good for me. I've been able to get my rest. Work. Thank God I'm still blessed to able to still work, because I know some people is not working and they're having a harder time. So, I have to say for me, man, it's been good, man.
No doubt, man. When you work from home, man, it makes it easier to go to the fridge, man. Tuck in, man.
See, that's how you gain all that weight when you.
I tell you, man. You get that good food, man, in, man.
Yeah, you be sleeping, the refrigerator right there. You just reach over in the fridge and grab.
Hey, man. But look, over here, we're just about to come out of lockdown on Wednesday, and the gyms are going to be open again. So, pumping that weight, it's back on, man. Once more, man.
Man, I know y'all gonna be happy because y'all was on lockdown for the whole month, right?
Yeah, for the whole month. So we're going to get back to normality, and the Christmas shopping and the whole build up to Christmas is going to happen. Boris has given us the opportunity to have a Christmas.
Oh, Boris. Yeah, that's right. Boris is the prime minister.
That's it. Boris Johnson.
Yeah, he's the prime minister. Yeah, okay.
All right, man. All right, before we get into the boxing, man, we got to once again, man, we got to respect the national anthems, man. We're gonna do this, man. We're gonna do this.
All right, what we got?
All right, the national anthem of America. All right. The national anthem of America. Now, the UK. Stand up, stand up.
We don't want to do what to do the UK.
For the UK, man. We're getting ready. All right, we ready.
All right,
we ready, man. We ready, man. Before the bell rings, you just got to shadow a bit. Got to shadow a bit. So look, we had an action-packed weekend of fights. The weekend gone, and it started with Daniel Jacobs against Rosado. A bit of a stinker. Did you get a chance to watch it at all, Bo?
Yeah, man. They cleared my insomnia, man. They fixed my insomnia problem, man. Round one, man. Listen, man. The funny thing about that fight that I found funny was Daniel Jacobs was talking like he was a top level fighter. He had been talking to Rosado like he was this A-level fighter that was on. Remember, I think he told Rosado, you fortunate to even get this opportunity. I'm like, what opportunity? It's just you, Daniel. What opportunity you talking about? You talk like you got a belt. You talk like, you know what I'm saying? You talk like you bringing a bag to the fight for this dude. What opportunity you talking about, Daniel? And then he goes in there and get that performance And actually, both men gave that performance because they both was talking the way they was talking, man. I mean, it was so bad. This is how bad that fight was. Their own network, DAZN, wrote an article about that fight and said low impact performance. Eddie Hearn himself tweeted saying, "I don't think neither one of them should have won." That's Eddie Hearn. It was he was the promoter of the fight. He's like, "I don't think either one of them should have won." I'll guarantee you, man. If DAZN could have took them checks back, man, they take their checks back, man. That was a very bad showing. Daniel Jacobs, though, and I hate to say this, I believe Daniel Jacobs, as far as being on that level, that main event level, I think that's it for him, man. I think that's it for him, man. I mean, his last great showing that I remember from him was when he fought Gennady Golovkin. Now, he did fight Canelo Alvarez, right? But that wasn't a good showing. I mean, it was okay, but that, like, the best Daniel Jacobs I saw was in that first fight with Gennady Golovkin. He rose above, but he's a two-time champion. I don't see that Daniel Jacobs that fought Rosado. That Daniel Jacobs beats nobody at 168. No champion at 168 does he beat any of those guys. He beats none of them at 168, man. Not that guy I saw. So, I mean, he's what, 33, 34 years old? I mean, it might be time for him to think about, hanging him up. But that fight right there, though, that fight doesn't inspire. Like, that fight does not inspire you wanting to see Daniel Jacobs again. I can tell you that. He's gonna have to have another fight against a quality guy and blow that guy out, knock that guy out, just for people to even forget about what we saw.
He was talking about moving up in weight. It's gonna hydrate him a bit more. He's gonna feel stronger moving up, and it just didn't click for him against Rosado. The styles didn't gel.
No, he was talking about going up to what 175?
No, super middle.
Oh, super middle.
Super middle.
But here's the thing: their styles didn't gel. But Rosado is a dude, okay, that, and I like him. Rosado's a solid fighter. He's a gang fighter. Don't let the 11 losses fool you, okay? Do not let those. A lot of times people don't let them 11 losses fool you, right? But Rosado is a guy that Daniel Jacobs that you can look good against. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a performance he should have gave fighting that guy. Now, if it was a situation where he fought another high-level fighter, okay, I can kind of see, maybe entertain that. But I don't expect you to have, with the shit that he's talking with that pedigree, I don't expect to see that kind of performance against that guy.
All right. Well, what did you make of Mike Tyson's return to the ring against Roy Jones Jr.? I thought it was all right. Initially when the fight was announced, I had some reservations. I won't lie to you. But, I just couldn't help it. I got up and I watched the fight, and I thought Tyson put in a good showing, particularly.
All right, let me say this, man.
All right. Here comes the smoke. Let
me say this, man. I'm glad nobody got hurt. That's number one, right? I'm glad that both these men hopefully have got that itch out of their belly that satisfied that hunger. But I don't want to see them again. They don't need to be in the ring again unless we're talking it's exhibition and it's for headgear. It was a hug fest. They both clearly was a shell of themselves. Okay. And they both clearly was a shell of themselves. And now Tyson was out there trying. And I give it to him the first couple rounds, man. Tyson was out there really trying to land some leather on Roy. He really was. And I'm not going to say that I don't think that both these men got into shape. I think they definitely got themselves into shape to fight. But at 54 years old, there's only so much you can do for your body and with your body. That after a certain period of time, I don't care how hard you train. I don't care, you can stay in good shape. But at 54 years old, you shouldn't be trying to get in the ring, even with another 54-year-old man, and try to do something competitive. Okay? So for me, I'm glad they had to fight. I'm not mad at them because for the money they was giving them, hey man, listen, hey man, look, get that. Like I will never tell a fighter never get your money. Okay, I will never say that to any fighter, to any man. Period. I will never tell another man, hey man, forget about that money. No, get your money. But I'm just saying that personally, as someone from boxing, I don't want to see them guys fight again, man. I'm glad they did it. Good thing for them. I'm happy for them. But what I saw again, that's just something where I saw that and I'm just like, why is boxing letting this go on, man?
I'll tell you one thing I did enjoy was Snoop Dogg's commentary. Did you hear that bit when he said there's two things that you don't play? You don't play boxing and you don't play pimping.
Hey, Snoop said that fight looked like two of his uncles trying to fight at the family barbecue. Snoop Dogg's commentary was classic, man. He was like, it's like two uncles fighting at the barbecue. So that was it. But listen, I get what they were trying to do. I really do. I get they was trying to, because you bring Snoop in because you're trying to connect the hip hop with the sport, right? So you're trying
YG was there, etc. Yeah.
Right. So you're trying to make that connection with the hip hop fans and try to get them to come in the sport. Right. So I kind of get that. But the problem that I think that a lot of us have to understand about the sport is those people are probably just gonna come for that one fight. They're not gonna stick around. See what I'm saying? They're not gonna stick around. So I don't think it should have been a pay-per-view. Exhibition, fine, but they shouldn't have asked us to pay money for that, man. But I mean, again, it is what it is. I remember what Tyson was at the height of his career. I remember what Jones was at the height of his career. And that was sad to see. That, like I said, Roy Jones reminded me of like that old, like that former athlete with like the way he was walking to the rings, man. He walked to the ring like he had, like, you know what I'm saying, like his knees was bothering. He got to do it like them dudes got to do a warm up for the warm up.
But overall, how was that fight received in America?
It was a lot of mixed messages. There was a lot of, I say a good majority of people from what I was seeing, they was all, they all pretty much was like, okay, I'm glad they fought, but great, now go home and take a seat and sit down. And that's pretty much what I was, the gist of everything I was getting from watching people's comments and everything. They was pretty much like, okay, man, great, glad to see them, glad they're both safe. Now go home and sit down.
All right, guys, we're going to get to your questions just in a minute. Just bear with us. Smash that like button. Okay, so the big talking point of the weekend over in the UK and probably amongst the boxing fraternity stroke community was Daniel Dubois losing to Joyce. Now, we've heard what's happened in the UK, like the feedback from the commentators in the UK. What about in the US?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that felt that that I had talked to. They felt that at the end of the day that this might have been a bad choice of opponents for Dubois. Okay. Some people felt like that. Some people actually like the fact that on the domestic level, you do have your top prospects fight each other. Mind you, both of these dudes, Daniel Dubois did not have to fight Joe Joyce. Okay. Joe Joyce didn't have to fight Daniel Dubois. Joe Joyce, he's highly ranked. Daniel Dubois, I think by the WBO, is highly ranked, right? So these dudes really didn't have to fight each other. The fact that they did, whether you want to say, hey, it was a bad judgment in whoever the promoter was, it was a bad judgment, and putting Dubois in there with such a seasoned guy. And the thing about it is, you look at Joe Joyce's record and you think he can't be seasoned. Joe Joyce is seasoned only because of the fact Joe Joyce he's a 2016 silver medalist, and he also was in the WB. I think he was in the WBS.
WSB,
yeah, right. He was in the WSP tournament also as well. So he has a lot of experience, right? And he's fought on the pro level. And I mean, when I say pro level, I mean he's fought outside of the domestic zone. He's fought Ustinov. He's fought Romain Stavern. He's had Abel
Brian Jennings.
Right. Brian Jennings, right? He's had Abel Sanchez as his trainer. So he has more of that. He has more of a solid compact foundation around him from a pro style, from an American world style. Where I'm not going to say American, just that world style, from that whole world style value. He has that. Daniel Dubois is the guy that on the domestic level, we heard a lot about him because of his sparring, because of his power, because of he had good boxing skills also as well, right? But there was the biggest gap there was the difference in experience. Daniel Dubois' experience mostly is domestic level, while Joe Joyce is mostly more worldly. And I think that's what we saw. We saw that. Shout out to your girl who was on the show when y'all was on the show. I got a chance to peek when she said, I'm not a teen. I'm not a teen. I know a teen. I know a teen.
Oh, Lady Chan. Yeah. Lady Chan. Big up Lady Chan. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Big ups to her because she was the only one brave enough on the show to call Joyce. And I agree with her when people were saying Dubois knockout by 8 or 9. I'm like, yo, man, whatever gave y'all that? Because after 5 rounds, he doesn't get a knockout. So who, why are people saying that? Like, so I actually got that, but it came down to me was, I'm not going to say so much as the overwhelming experience of Joe Joyce as it makes me question the training that they're giving Dubois, because it's no reason that I can accept why this dude couldn't get out the way of the fucking jab, why he couldn't parry the jab. You know what I'm saying? Like that jab was better than any right hand that Dubois was throwing. And we also found out that Joe Joyce has one hell of a chin. Joe Joyce has one hell of a chin. So I think Daniel Dubois might have been thrown in there too early, but you know what? They felt that they could win. And a lot of people, and before anybody said it, a lot of people felt that he could win. A lot of people were saying Dubois is going to beat Joyce, right? Everybody was saying that. So, I mean, it's one of those things, man. I believe that it might have been just a tad, like watching that fight, it really makes you feel like, okay, that might have been a tad bit too early to throw him in there with him. But at the same time, I also understand why. They had been hitting at that fight for a long time. I think over the course of a year, 2 years, they had been hitting at that fight. Then this is back when Joe Joyce was with David Haye. I remember that. And back when he was with David Haye, they was talking about, that fight. So, hey man, you got to give it to Joe Joyce, man. Juggernaut showed us his ring IQ, and he showed us his overall boxing ability. But more importantly, I was impressed with his discipline. Not at any point in time did he elect to let the fight get beyond his control. He controlled every part of that fight. When Dubois was coming at him, throwing them big bombs, he controlled the action. He would grab him, walk him back, control, and get back in the center of that ring and go and keep it in the middle of the ring and go back to boxing. So you got to give it to him. He implemented his game plan. He was smart enough to implement his game plan a lot more than Dubois, who at some point it just appeared that Dubois' game plan was to just try to land a big shot and hurt him. And if that was the game plan, that was the wrong game plan.
What did you make of the ending of the fight? How it ended?
I'm not gonna get down on Dubois for that. I know a lot of people are. The reality is, the eye is, as a fighter, I don't, not all fighters. Like I know Kose Tanaka, he suffered 2 over the bones being broken when he fought Angel Acosta, his low weight division. Now we know, I believe, suffered one when he fought what's the dude name? Nonito Donaire. Right, and he pulled through. Right, I do believe Daniel Dubois quit, but I don't think he's a quitter. And the reason why I don't think he's a quitter is he quit. Yes, he did. He quit, and the reason why, that eye with that broken orbital bone closed up, and when he got hit. And when your eye is as puffy as his eye was, you get hit with a jab, it sends a tingling feeling throughout your whole entire body. And I think he got hit in that eye, and then he began to ask himself questions, which prior to that eye being hit, he was already asking himself questions prior to the eye being hit. I think from a mental standpoint, physically he wasn't spent, but mentally he was, because everything he had been doing, everything he used to seeing was not there in this fight right here. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what he tried, Joyce had an answer for it. And I think from a mental standpoint, he was never properly prepared mentally for a situation like that. You go back to Teofimo Lopez, the fight that I think prepared him mentally for Lomachenko was when he fought that tall Asian dude.
Nakatani.
Huh?
Yeah, Nakatani. He had a difficult night that night. But
and Nakatani was giving him problems. So when Teofimo put it together and got past Nakatomi, from a mental standpoint, that prepared him for Lomachenko. Why? Because when it wasn't going his way, he had something to draw back on. Daniel Dubois never had that. He never was in a situation where he was mentally tested a little bit to see, hey, what do you have to overcome that? And when you're a young man, I think Dubois is what, 21, 22?
23.
Okay, when you're a young man and everything is going good for you, and you've never had this happen to you ever in life where you was tested mentally, and the first time you are tested mentally is in a situation like that where you have an impairment messing with you to the point where it makes you think, there's a lot of things that's going to go through your mind. Like, you're going to think about how much life you got left. You're going to think about, just so many things you're going to think about. So I'm not going to come down on him for what he did. Did he quit? Yes. Can't hide that. He quit because he got hit with a jab and he was like, he went down to a knee. And now we found out he has a broken orbital bone himself. Is that what his orbital bone? Orbital bone broken
in his left eye. Yeah.
Okay. So now he has a potential, he has a serious injury that he's never probably suffered before. So for me, I'm not going to call him a quitter, but it is going to be interesting to see what happens next with him. It's going to be seen from a mental standpoint. Now we're going to find out who he really is, because this is a trial outside of boxing that you're going to have to deal with, because people are already saying that you quit. That you're going to have to get over with. Now you have this eye injury, and you're going to have to ask yourself, do I want to keep fighting, or do I want to risk? Do I want to risk having been in this situation again with my eye? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him from this standpoint, because from a mental standpoint, those are the type of things that can kind of a young fighter's career. That type of a loss in that fashion is kind of the thing that can make a young fighter never be the same or not even come back at all.
Hey, I think the word we're looking for is adversity, and that shows character, right?
Always show character. Listen, the eye was messing with him the whole fight, right? It was swelling up and everything, so he was dealing with it. It was just that when he got hit that one time, and that he got hit, that jab was better than any right hand. It's, what do George Foreman always say? The fight is easy if you use your jab. And he hit him with that jab, poof. And it's funny because it tells you how heavy-handed Joyce is, right? Everybody talk about the power of Dubois, but look at how heavy-handed Joyce is. Joyce is heavy-handed to the point where a jab, poof, swole that dude's eye up like that. And like I said, he got hit on that eye, and and you saw him, he stepped back and he touched it. And I think when he touched it, he felt even how tender it hurt it so bad that he was like, oh man, he took a knee, man. So if it had been, and here's why I say it's going to be interesting to see how he is, right? Remember, people forget, Vitaly Klitschko once quit in the corner against Chris Bird for a shoulder. It wasn't even his eye, it was just his shoulder, right? And that dude was able to bounce back and go into the Hall of Fame. That's why I'm saying, for me, there's lots of examples in boxing where, okay, can he come back from this? I think he can, but it's all about him, his character, and what he's made of. And it's going to take a lot of support from the people around him. That's going to be key. His own mentality and his support team. Though that's going to tell us who he really is and what he's really made of right there, man. It's like, this is a crossword for him. Honestly speaking, this is a crossword for that young man.
Wow. Okay, we've got Bo in the building from Three Kings Boxing, Pro Beezy, Pep Talk UK. We're going to engage some of the viewers. Guys, smash that like button. We're doing this because of the fans. Right. All right, so.
Hey, let me ask you this, man. What are people saying over in the UK? Are they calling him a quitter?
At the moment, there's a lot of that at the moment. A lot of people kind of comparing that with Kell Brook and Errol Spence. So, in England, in the UK, there's a lot of, bravery is a big thing over here. Mm-hmm. So when something like that happens, a lot of the fans might, question things. But again, look, each fighter goes through adversity, and it's how you deal with it, and it's how you come back. And I remember one thing Anthony Joshua said. He says a lot of these fighters be talking, all right? People be talking. Let's see what happens when you go into deep waters. He said, I went into deep waters against Klitschko when he knocked me down, and I came back.
Yeah, he did.
Ruiz beat him. He was in deep waters. He lost the fight. He came back. So look, the setback just really means a comeback to the strong people.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing about it is there's lots of examples. People who comparing it to Kell Brook, listen, there's a huge difference. Kell Brook, prior to Errol Spence, with Gennady Golovkin, went out and still tried to fight Golovkin. His corner stopped. But with Errol Spence is a little different because he was fighting back. It just, as he was trying to fight back, he was in there with a younger man that was just as hungry as him, and Earl kind of beat it out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like Earl kind of beat it out of him. That was the second time Kell Brook had to go through that, right? So it's a little different than from what Dubois did, because I don't think Dubois was spent. I just think it was just a situation of he was faced with something he was never faced before with. Kell Brook was faced with that before. You know what I'm saying? With Golovkin, right? So, and I didn't get on him when he did it with Errol Spence. And I'm gonna tell you, first of all, I think the corner, I think in the Errol Spence fight, I think his corner might have got up on the ring. I don't remember. I can't remember if his corner got up on the ring or what, but he at least tried to fight. He came out in that last round and he tried to give it all he had in that. He went for it in that last round. He saw adversity for the second time. So I'm not going to get down on the man that in the second time he had to face that same adversity, he decided, man, no, man, I'm not going to do that, right? Because that second time could be fatal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get on him for that. People even talk about Nigel Benn. They talk about Nigel Benn, right? When he got knocked, when Nigel Benn was spent. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Nigel Benn got spent when it happened to. Same thing with Anthony Yard. When Anthony Yard was spent. He gave it all he had for all them rounds and he was spent. You know, the only one that come close to it is probably Roberto Duran. But the thing about Roberto Duran was because he got killed for that no mas. He just got killed. You weren't getting spent. It was just a situation of you was being outboxed and you just couldn't take it no more, right? For years that followed Roberto Duran, the thing that helped Roberto Duran is two things. One, he had an incredible career prior to that no mas. That he was able to win. I think he won a championship after that. When people thought he won a championship after that. So that's kind of what saved him. But people to this day still talk about that. What they call Lomachenko. Remember how they say that now?
Yeah. Lomachenko stopping. Who was the axe? What was his name again? The Jamaican fighter.
Nicholas Walters.
Walters, that's it.
Right.
Walters.
Yeah. So, so they call it Lomachenko. So but that's what I'm saying. It's going to take, but all of those guys I'm talking about, each one of them, they have the character and the people around him. Even Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard, you look at, he has the character and the people around him. Tunde Ajayi, he has the people around him to where bouncing back from that won't be a problem. I'm not saying that Anthony Yard quit. I'm just saying the fact that he got knocked down from a jab. He's able to come. He's have the people around him, so that loss doesn't devastate him. He's able to come back from it. That's what's going to be so interesting here with Daniel Dubois is the people around him and his own mentality has to be strong enough to overcome this. Accept the fact that people are talking about you. Accept the fact that people are going to, this the sport of boxing. It is the most non-forgiving sport there is. They love you when you're winning. They throw you in the trash when you're losing.
What they say about the locker room after you lose a fight? The locker room's empty.
Yep. The locker room is empty when you lose the fight. Right? Your phone not ringing no more. The cheers are over. Okay. So it's going to take to see the team around him and himself is going to be tested in this moment right here going forward, man. But man, props to Joe Joyce. If I wrote an article where Tony Yoka called out Joe Joyce, and I'm saying to myself, I don't think Tony Yoka beats Joe Joyce at this point of their career, but I definitely believe I'm Joe Joyce. I'm not even looking at that fight because he's in Joe Joyce after when the ranking system go back, he's going to get a huge bump in the ranking system, man. He's in line for a title. he's definitely in line for a title, whether he has to fight an eliminator or what. So if I'm Joe Joyce, I'm not looking at no Tony. I'm not looking back at no Tony Yoka, man. It's straight ahead, because that performance he gave is the type of performance that catapults you to a championship title.
All right, guys, smash that like button. First and foremost, we need to thank Andrew Ward Johnson for the super chat. My guy, supporting the channel, man. We're trying to come through, and we appreciate that. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to read Andrew Ward's comment. Joe Joyce is the modern day Joe Louis. His style is like 1930. He's going to be a big problem for everybody at heavyweight. Joe Louis is alive, yo. What you reckon?
I don't know if he'll be a big problem for all of the heavyweights. Put like this: Tyson Fury is probably the only one right now that I don't see Joe Joyce beating. I think Joe Joyce has a very good chance. People gonna get mad at me for saying it, but then again, okay, it is what it is. Fine. You don't agree with me? You talk to my man Pep Talk, or reach out to 3 King Boxing. Reach for me. You know, we can talk. I think Anthony Joshua has a heart. Would he give Anthony Joshua a run for his money? And he's definitely give Deontay Wilder a run for money, because Wilder is just like Dubois. He's going to depend on being able to knock you out. And we just saw Joe Joyce has one hell of a chin. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna need more. Like, you're gonna need more than just that power. Joe Joyce has proven it, man. You're gonna need more than power if that's what you come into the game to beat. So the only person, the heavyweight right now, that's a problem for him is Tyson. That's because of the height and the reach. He's going to have a hard time implementing his jab, and Tyson's jab is a little bit better. Joe Joyce's jab is like a little, like, and it's crazy too, because it's not a fast, it's not a fast jab. He just pop. It's like he just does it out of whoop. Well, Tyson Fury like that snapping jab, that snapping jab. So that's the only one. But outside of that, man, I could see Joe Joyce, like Usyk, like him and Usyk would be a good fight. I think that would be a cracking good fight. Him and Alexander Usyk for the eliminator. I think that'd be a very good fight right there, because Usyk didn't look good in his last heavyweight matter of fact, against Derek Chisora. And remember, Usyk said himself, you know, I need a few more fights before I, you know, try to fight Anthony Joshua. So, and if Derek Chisora was able to land on him and do some of the things I saw, I know Joe Joyce will be able to do that. So.
All right, guys, we're in the building. Bo from 3 Kings Boxing. Subscribe, smash that like button, smash it. Smash it now. Smash it, mate.
With your fist down like Thor.
All right, we're going to engage some of the viewers, read out some of your questions. Let's take it from the top. All right, okay. So, Dino, I'm not going to pronounce your surname, all right? It's a very long surname, but we're going to read a question anyway. All right, big up Pro Beez and Bo. My question off topic is, what are your thoughts on Callum Swift's chances on beating Canelo, and how do you beat Canelo now that he is in his prime? Good question. He almost looks invincible at the moment, Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo looked invincible. Well, here's the thing, right? Once upon a time, it was extremely hard, damn near impossible to beat Canelo, not simply for the fact that his boxing ability, not simply for the fact of his he had a great, Canelo Alvarez has an elite level chin.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Not because of his, you know, his ring IQ. The thing with all of that really made it hard was that golden boy machine behind Canelo made it hard to beat him. You know, now that he doesn't have that golden boy tag on him now, right? I equate it to this. When Canelo shows up at the fight, he's already 8 rounds up. When he steps in the ring, he's 10 rounds up. Right? He's 10 rounds up when he steps in the ring. Now, now he's at least 4 or 5 rounds ahead. So you have a bit of a chance. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be as difficult, but you got a bit of a chance. But I still believe you have to knock Canelo out or knock him down to win a fight with Canelo. So it's still hard. You know, you have to like thoroughly make it clear you've outboxed this dude for 12 freaking rounds. You're like, he can't have 3 or 4 rounds where he looked good. Nope, it's nope. He either gonna win or it's gonna be a draw. You can't, you know. So it still is difficult because his name itself carries a lot of weight. it is Canelo Alvarez. He does have good ring IQ. He does have very good boxing skills. He does have an elite level chin, okay? And the guy is still considered the face of boxing. So it's still going to be hard to beat him. But I think it's more possible now to beat him because he doesn't have that golden boy tag on him. So that's going to be interesting to see. But Callum Smith, honestly, to me, and you know more than I do. Listen, he lost to John Ryder. I'm sorry. He lost that fight. Ryder beat Callum Smith, man. Ryder beat him, man. He beat Callum Smith. That was his last fight, right?
Yeah, a year ago.
Right. So Ryder beat Callum Smith. So he has these levels of inconsistencies in his fights where sometimes he looks like he's up here and sometimes he's down there. So he's going to have to be extremely focused. He's going to have to bring his entire, he's going to have to be on a level all throughout the fight. He can never have a messed up moment. Can he do that? That remains to be seen. But here lately, because of his inconsistencies, it does line him up to be in line to take the L from Canelo Alvarez. Also, another thing he's going to have to watch out is Canelo Alvarez is very good at getting on the inside and going to your body and dictating the pace of the fight. Even against Gennady Golovkin, he's able to, when he wants, he can dictate the pace of the fight. Callum Smith does not fight very well off the back foot, and every time you get close, he steps back. And he did this against George Grover. He stepped back with his hands down to try to get distance. Well, you don't want to do that against Canelo Alvarez. You know? So it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's difficult for Callum Smith. And on top of the fact, he's going to be in San Antonio, Texas. All I'm going to say is Canelo Alvarez versus Austin Trout. Watch that fight. Remember the Alamo, San Antonio, Texas. The greatest robbery in all the sports took place where? San Antonio. What's the biggest robbery? Chavez versus Pernell Whitaker. So let's just say the deck is like that high stacked against Callum Smith right now, man.
All right, guys, smash that like button. We got Bo in the building from the US of A, breaking down the latest boxing news. And I'd like to also say that we're going to give away 2 copies of Lennox Lewis's documentary provided to you. They're rated by Dr. Dre. And we've been given some copies from Andy PR. And get your questions in and we'll pick a winner at the end of the show. And we'll send them over to you along with a Pep Talk t-shirt. So smash that like button. We're here for the fans. You know, we're giving a bit back.
You know what I just remembered also? Because under Abel Sanchez, Joe Joyce wasn't the boxer that we saw him. His new trainer, he also learned the Cuban style of boxing from
Ishmael Salas. Ishmael Salas.
That's it, Salas.
I know Ishmael Salas from the Haymaker Gym. Yeah.
He also learned the Cuban style of boxing, and that's what you saw. You saw very and it wasn't amateurish either. It wasn't like the amateur. This was a high level, pro level style of boxing that you saw from him, and you saw that. And Joe Joyce's footwork was even better in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying. So, like I say, shout out to what's her name, Lady? What's her name again?
Lady Chan.
Shout out to Lady. I'm not a ting. I like what she said. Listen, she was sitting there and she said the funniest thing. She said, "You're just going on, mate. What have you seen to make you think that he knocks him out? You guys are just talking. You're just talking, mate. Come on."
Oh man, the ringside watch-alongs, man. It was lit. It was lit. And we're gonna do some more Lady Chan, Showy, Huss. We got an army ready to do these ringside watch-alongs now. So, guys, smash that like button. We're in the building. Okay, so wow, there's quite a few questions to get through. I don't even know where to start. Okay. All right. Hold on. Lady Chan is actually in the building. All right. So we read out what she's got to say here. Okay. I think people need to leave Dubois alone. His karma was served. It's it's either be possibly blind in one eye from the age of 23, or take the knee and come back. He's been gassed up, but allow him. So
yeah, I actually agree with this. I think a lot of times, when a fighter is hated on, it's not because of the fighter, it's because of other things, such as some people believe he's overhyped, some people don't like his trainer, some people don't like the organization he's with. Okay, so there's a lot of things that make people not like him, and because the reality is, if Daniel Dubois would have won, right, what was everybody going to say? We're not hearing this, and it's ironically, I think if I recall correct, he was up on the scorecards going into the stoppage, which I do not understand how.
One judge had Daniel Dubois up 8 rounds.
Yeah, jeez. Oh, just 8 rounds. Oh, okay. Well, oh, just 8 rounds. Oh, okay. Hey, wow. Okay. Like, just try justifying that. So you can definitely tell the fix was in. The fix was in, and put it like this: if the fight would have went the distance and Dubois won the fight, he still would have got criticized because people would have felt like the fix was in against Joyce. And that would have been even worse because you would have won the fight, but now nobody even believes in you. At least they're just questioning, you're like, when people don't believe in you, that's hard to overcome when fans don't believe in you. But you can overcome it when they question your mental state. All you got to do is go out and show that to them. So, yeah, I get that. Was he being pushed a lot? Was he being gassed? Boxing has a way of latching on to the next big thing, especially in the heavyweight division, and pushing them hard, because we only have one. We like the heavyweight division now is an influx of youth, young guys. So you get a situation where you got 1 or 2 fighters that are good. So the next guy that comes along, you're pushing him hard, and you're over pushing him. He's not ready. And boxing has, like, we've seen that a lot in boxing. We've seen so many fighters in boxing that have come, and once they get that real test, they're gone. We've seen that a lot in fighting. So I don't think people should get down on him, because again, at 23 years old, you're rarely ever equipped at 23 years old to make a life or death decision and actually pick death and go with that. You rarely suddenly realize you built like that. That's stuff that comes over time. So I think people definitely should just, like I said, did he quit? Yes. No denying he quit. But is he a quitter? No, I don't think he's a quitter, because he didn't quit up until that point where it really got to the point he couldn't take it no more, because that eye had been swelling the whole fight. And he was still going out there fighting. Matter of fact, the round prior to that, he landed some big right-hand shots on Joyce. You know what I'm saying? And the eye was swelling up. So it wasn't until that final situation took place where he was like, okay, man, I've tried everything I've tried. My eye is messing with me. I'm done. I would like a situation where the eye wasn't a factor, and seeing how he would, like, if he was just getting beaten, the eye wasn't a factor, and he quit, then I can understand people calling him a quitter. But this situation right here, I don't see how you can call a guy a quitter when the number one thing that when it comes to a fighter that we don't want to lose is our eye. As fighters don't want to lose is their eye. It's like, and if it's too graphic for your viewers, fine. I asked somebody a question. I said, as a man, what is the one thing as a man that you don't want nobody messing with?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that is, of course, your private part, right? So if somebody points a gun, like, you could be as brave as you want, but somebody points a gun down there, oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you what he did. Let me tell you what he did. Let me give it up. And that's kind of like how I look at that man. That man, that boy had to answer a life or death question, man. And,
All right. Apologies. I'm gonna have to do this in the dark. The light's gone out, man. Lights out, man. I got a knockout punch.
What happened?
Right.
Oh, I forget, man. Over there.
This is like, I've been knocked out. Lights out. Get it?
Oh, man.
Bad joke.
Like Nate Robinson.
Hey, Nate Robinson's been getting a lot of stick also.
He deserves it.
He get a lot of stick.
He deserves it. He's the one that called out Jake Paul. Jake Paul wasn't messing with him. He's the one that called out Jake Paul. So, you can't call somebody out and then get knocked out like that and not think you're gonna get it. But this goes back to what we're saying is this is why you don't play boxing.
You don't play boxing and you don't play pimping, as Snoop says.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't play boxing, you don't play pimping. Lady Chan was in the building. Yo, man, I'm her and your boy. I think was he from Germany? The other brother that was on there.
From Birmingham.
Okay, from Birmingham, and then the guy that did the announcement.
Huss. Yeah.
No, that was a cool show, man. Like I said, I was listening to you guys. That was a cool show. It was just funny though, because I'm looking at the comments in the chat, and everybody, like, you guys were behind. Everybody was behind. I'm looking at the chat. Hey man, the fight's over, baby.
Hey man, it's good banter, man. I got to pick up the team, man. You know, Huss, Lady Chan, Show the Showman. We're gonna do it again real soon.
No, you know, I think that show was very. It was a good show to me because everybody with their picks was able to break down as to the reason why. You know, and I think anytime you have something where whether people disagree or agree, as long as you can break it down and explain it in where it makes sense, that's not fanboying. That's actually objective criticism of critiquing a fight. And I think that's what made it so interesting to me was everybody was able to break it down. Everybody was able to explain their reasons why, and they gave a good critique of the fight. Right. The funniest part though is when you told everybody go take their bathroom break. That was hilarious. Everybody go take your bathroom break. That was hilarious.
Oh man! All right, guys, smash that like button. The USA and the UK combined once more. Right. So, all right. Chase Athletics. Ryder's got better. Remember him losing to Saunders. He has 5 losses. John Ryder.
Yeah.
Danger man. He's a danger man.
Yeah, he's gotten better, but also at the same time, you have to understand a lot of times these guys will see each other sometime in the amateurs. These guys have probably ran into each other in camps. So, you know, you run into a guy or you study a guy long enough and you listen, styles make fights. Sometimes a fighter has 5 losses. That's just because his management team didn't do a good job of matching him up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying, like, you can't just look at a guy's losses and say, oh, he's got 5 losses. He's no, you look where he match him up, because if he was 5-0 and they put him in the ring with a dude that's 21-1, that's bad matchup, you know.
It depends who you fight. It depends who you fight. Like Chisora's fought everyone,
yeah,
and he's lost 10 times, but he's lost to what? Klitschko.
He lost
twice. He lost twice.
He lost to Vladimir Klitschko. He lost to Vitaly. He's lost to Usyk. He's lost to
David Haye.
Yeah. So basically, you're not going to be a low-level fighter. You're not going to be a C and D level fighter and beat Derek Chisora, especially back in his heyday. See what I'm saying? Same thing when Tony Yoka fought Christian Hammer. I'm like, man, that's a good test for him at 9-0. You know, because Christian Hammer is a beast on the European circuit scene. Yep. So that's a very good test for him. He get past Christian Hammer. He's not a pushover. He's not a dude. He's going to test you. You know, he's going to push you. He's got some dirty tricks he's going to show you. So that was a very good test for Tony Yoka, in my opinion. So yeah, man, it's all about that. It's all about that matchup. But when people look at them losses, no, man, you can't look at you like context is key. Context is key. You have to look at that. You know, like you just said, Derek Chisora with his many losses, but they came to probably some of the top dudes in boxing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't necessarily say if he goes to fight like an Adam Kalnaki, oh, Derek Chisora is done. No, man, no, he ain't done. Derek Chisora might beat Adam Kalnaki. Shit.
All right, okay. Lady Chan, big up. She in the building, supporting. Okay. What do you think about all the oldies like Lewis saying he wants to come back and fight now? Did you see that? I saw a collage of Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe. It never happened when it's meant to happen, but it might happen right now after the Tyson fight on the weekend.
Yeah, okay. These guys didn't fight when they was in their prime. They well past their prime, meaning that they're not in shape like they used to be. Lennox Lewis might, Riddick Bowe isn't. I seen Riddick Bowe at the Canelo Alvarez fight. Riddick Bowe is hell of out of weight. I mean, hell of Riddick Bowe is obese. You know what I'm saying? He got like 3 necks. You know, like he got like 3 necks, right? So no, man, I don't want to see that. I think that these older fighters, are they still have that desire for that last glow. Fighters period is so competitive. It's hard for them to not want to hear them cheers, to not want to hear that, that shouting of their name. That's hard for them to adjust to when they walk away from it. And then when they see it and they see an older fighter like Tyson do it and they see the results of that, they're like, well, man, I want to do it too. No. Boxing, at some point, boxing is going to have to save itself from within and curtail that. I mean, yeah, it is nostalgia. Because we hold on to our heroes and we remember them for what they were. Key word, were. They're no longer young men no more. They no longer have that same veracity, same strength, same build, same speed. Everything about them has been fully diminished. Stop it. We need to tell them, hey, I'm glad y'all want to do that, but enjoy watching the sport.
All right, real talk from Bo. Guys, smash that like button. We've got 5 minutes left of the show. Okay, so all right, Riddler. Welcome, mate. People won't realize the hard work that Jake, Paul, and KSI actually put into boxing. It's people like Nate who doesn't respect the hard work that goes into it.
Well, here's the whole thing about it is I think that, although what you're saying might be true, but it's also disrespect when you have fans asking actual real fighters if they could beat Jake Paul. That's why that fight, I don't have a problem with nobody getting their money, but you should not be promoting Jake Paul and KSI on the same level at the same type of promotion that you're giving boxing. Because fighters they sacrifice years of birthday cakes, celebration, being away from their families. They sacrifice so much and they give so much to the sport. And then here comes these two guys simply because there's a crop of fans you think are going to come into boxing, which really those fans are just going to watch that fight and that's it. They're going to move on. And you're paying them more money than you do 80% of some of these guys fighting right now. So although I hear what you're saying, but think of the disrespect that's on Twitter. All you gotta do is go. I actually wrote the article about this. You had fans asking Clarissa Shields and Tank Davis and all of them, like, Jake Paul would beat this guy. No, stop. And I think that's what fighters was getting upset at, is because you're promoting this guy like he's an actual real fighter when he's really not, So although that might be true, but the fact that the reason why Nate did what he did is because of, look at how they moving this young man by putting him mainstream right there with boxing, as if he is. They're promoting him like he's an actual fighter, and they're giving him that platform.
All right, that's gonna run. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but the YouTube fighting, I don't know. That's another podcast. That's another life.
Listen, I don't have a problem with it. Let me just say that. I'm just saying it gets out of hand when fans and the boxing entities is trying to treat this like it's on the same level of boxing as other fighters. That's when it's a problem with me. But I mean, again, if they want to make them fight and get there, because when you watch them fights, but what we saw with Nate, and then we saw when he fought KSI with that rock'em sock'em, that's not boxing. That's not boxing. That's not boxing. Boxing is Joyce, Daniel Dubois, Floyd, Andre Ward, and Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Winky Wright. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury. Even you want to say he's boring, but whatever. When he fought Klitschko, but Tyson Fury, that's boxing. So.
All right. We're gonna get through a few of the questions. All right, Timothy Thomas, Pep Talk, the Treble D versus Joe Joyce, when, as I told you it would. Okay, fair play, mate. Fair play. All right, 100% Tuba. Kanaki sucks. Overrated as fuck.
Who?
Kanaki.
Kanaki. Why didn't name sound familiar?
Hellenius beaten recently.
He said,
American Cole, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You think he sucks, yeah, Kanaki? There was a lot of hype about him at once. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was.
There was a lot of hype, and then obviously the Hellenius thing just brought it right down.
And that happens a lot. Remember, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. He was supposed to fight Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And because Fury was actually at the fight. And if he'd have won, Fury was going to fight. This is when Fury was on the domestic level. If Fury would have won, I mean, if that guy would have won, he was going to fight Fury. And he wound up getting knocked out. Was it something? What is that dude's name, man? Povetkin just beat him recently, too. Povetkin knocked this dude out, I think, recently. What is his name, man? He's
UK fighter.
Yeah, it's not David. It's not Price. It's
Price. It's Price. David Price.
Is it David?
David Price was stopped by Povetkin.
Okay, that's it. Remember when he was supposed to he was going to meet up with Tyson Fury, and all this hype was on him, and then he got knocked out, and that's kind of been it for him. You know what I'm saying? Ever since then. So I mean, again, to me, it goes to your mental state. Boxing is a sport. We've seen a lot of guys with a lot of hype, and unfortunately, these fighters buy into their hype. And when they take their first loss, they're not the same. Adrian Broner is the perfect example of that, man. He's never been the same since Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson really was never the same after Buster Douglas. He won titles and everything because they was putting him in, and they was carefully moving him along the way. But he's never been the same since Buster Douglas. If you go back and watch, even when he fought Razor Ruddock after Douglas, right? But still, that's a very good hand-picked opponent. So yeah, man, that's the sport, man.
All right, 2 more questions, and then we out here. Guys, smash that like button. It's Three Kings Boxing in the building, along with Pep Talk.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I'm thinking, okay, I thought it was David Allen. I didn't know Price's first name was David. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was him. I remember that, man. So your boy Bo, I be watching UK boxing, man. Shout out. Hey, you know what? Shout out to my man, Linus Adofia. He's over there doing his thing, man. He's over there doing his thing, man. I got to give it to him. He's doing his thing.
English champion,
man, and always in the gym training hard, man. Jack Cotterall. That was man, that performance, man.
You didn't rate the performance, no, on the weekend.
No, man, that was he underperformed, and I'm really high. I'm somebody that's high on Jack Cotterall. I'm really high on Jack Cotterall, man. I thought that if Jack Cotterall would have fought Jose Ramirez, he was gonna beat him. You know, Jack Cotterall is the guy who helped who trained with Floyd Mayweather get prepared for Manny Pacquiao. He was instrumental in that. A lot of people don't know that. So I was high on Jack Cotterall, man. So he just had underperformed, and it could have been the layoff, but yeah, man, that was he underperformed in that fight. Hopefully, he comes back.
All right. I think we're gonna close it there. All right. We'd like to thank Bo from Three Kings Boxing, Pep Talk UK. It's been fun tonight, man. Guys, thanks for your time, man. We out, sure. Thank you.